What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the Texans Better Talk Show. There's been some more disrespect. Before we get into that, this is a Texans talk show on YouTube. If you like Texans content, you like breakdowns, you just like all sorts of content, reactions to different news, I'd appreciate if you could like and subscribe. It means a lot to me and tells me to keep going. And again, I'm always going to give you the best Texans content that I can, so I'd really appreciate that. But back to the video, man. There has been some new disrespect, blatant disrespect. This time coming from Nick Wright, although he did try to take credit for Rex Ryan's comments. And he doesn't call the Texans a bye week. He does call them something else, though. So let's just get straight into that. Let's just get straight into that and kind of see what he's trying to say about our Houston Texans.
Patrick Mahomes hasn't played since Christmas. Will be well rested, and the line reflects it. 7.5-point favorites. First matchup was a Chiefs 8-point victory, so about right. The path for the upset if you're a Texans fan. Texans defense, get after it. Get to Mahomes. First in takeaways, first in pressure percentage, third in sacks.
And by the way, I completely agree with that. I completely agree with Wilds' analysis of how the Texans win this game. It is through the defense. But anyway, let's keep going.
And opponent third down percentage, so maybe. Nick, do you think that if that works, are you giving the Texans a chance here?
Amazon hates this, but there's nothing they can do to stop it. There's a new electric lighter out there, and it's got the firepower of a...
No. Good defense. Can't listen. The Chiefs. I'm not gonna do the thing. I'm not gonna say this is a bye. It's not a bye. And I'm not even gonna get mad that Rex stole my phrase and fumbled it a bit and then was wrong. Better than a bye is the phrase, and you better be sure the team's gonna wax the team they're playing rather than lose to them. But set that aside. It's not a bye.
Okay.
It is, however, the Chiefs' final practice of the year.
You got to go hard.
And
The Chiefs' final practice of the year. Wow.
here, I told this to Greg yesterday, and we can show you Mahomes' numbers in this round. It's very simple. LeVar Ball style, never lost. Never turn the ball over. Just crush.
Bad omen right
But here's why it's not, though. Because you don't lose a game you're not playing, and they're not playing a game. They have one final practice before their season starts.
There you go. One final practice before the season starts. He goes on to talk about the history of the Chiefs. And look, like, I'm not going to lie. I'll be real. Yeah, the history of the Chiefs is amazing, right? They every single time they've been the 1 seed and they've come off that bye in the playoffs, they've won the game. So, yeah, don't get me wrong. You know, the Chiefs' history is amazing. But there's a reason why we go out there on Saturdays and Sundays, put our pads on and our helmets on and play the games, right? It's because history doesn't decide the future. Although it can be, not to get philosophical on you, but it can be a predictor. Sorry for the blurriness. I think I fixed that. So, yeah, he thinks that we are a bona fide practice. And I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to break down reasons why I don't believe that's true. I don't know if this is just another headline grab. I don't know if people are blind and they're not seeing the performances the Texans are putting up. I don't know if they just want to be talked about a lot. If you're feeling insecure about that. But yeah, to start my response to this, I'm going to start with one word: defense. If I'm the Texans defense might be the most disrespected defense in the league, especially since I believe they're the best defense in the league. And I'll flat out say that. I believe that as a Houston Texans fan, so I might be a little biased, but I really do believe that we have the best defense in the league. And we have the ability to make quarterbacks look pedestrian. Josh Allen, 9 for 30, lowest completion rate of his career, could have easily thrown a pick to Azeez Al-Shire, goes through his hands. No other defense is making Josh Allen throw picks to linebackers or making them look like 9 to 30. Tua, who's not on the same caliber as these other quarterbacks, obviously, he looked terrible against the Texans defense. Goff, who a lot of people have a lot of respect for, even if he is in an ideal situation, he throws 5 picks, 5 interceptions. So you tell me if he's doing that to another defense. Spoiler alert, he hasn't. Now, Justin Herbert, who everyone says a freak athlete, everyone's starting to talk about his postseason woes. No one's actually giving the Texans defense credit. It's like, why do you think he had a postseason woe? Why do you think he threw 4 interceptions? Well, I can get into that right now. But I'll start with, this defense is so underappreciated in this league. If you're a fan of football out there, maybe you're a Texans fan, maybe you're just listening to this channel to get closer to the situation. What I need you to understand is that this Texans defense is a Super Bowl caliber, level defense. This Texans defense can take a suboptimal average offense to the Super Bowl. They 100% can do it. And this defense just got scarier. Let me kind of fill you in on some things that have been happening. First of all, this front seven for the Houston Texans, including rotational pieces, other players we like to sub in, they've been healthy one game this whole season. Guess which game that was? That was the Chargers game. They're still healthy. Thankfully, none of the injured players came from that defensive front seven. Why do I put so much emphasis on this defensive front seven? It's because D'Amico Ryan's philosophy, what he constantly says is it starts with those guys up front, right? They're all healthy. Will Anderson, Danielle Hunter, the best edge duo in the league. Danico Autry, who's a beast. His presence was all over that Chargers game. Tim Settle's having a career year behind Mario Edwards, who's finally healthy again. He got off a suspension. So did Autry. He had a suspension. Fadakasi has been injured pretty much this whole season. He's been banged up. He's finally healthy. Togai, elevated from the practice squad. He's healthy. Heinisch, another good rotational piece, is healthy. He was injured, actually had to get elevated from IR earlier this season. Derek Barnett has 2 touchdowns. Like, that's a defensive end that has 2 touchdowns. That's a big dude. When you see him running with the football, we've seen it twice now. Excuse me. That's a big dude. And so with what that allows you to do, all those pieces, and I can talk about the linebackers really quick. Christian Harris finally looks healthy. Aziz is back from a suspension. Toa Toa has been the solid rock. He's been playing his best year of football. He's a lot better than rookie year Toa Toa. Neville Hewitt comes in for a couple instances. But yeah, so we're very healthy. And why is this important? The offensive line doesn't get a break for the other team. You're going against Daniil. You're going against Will. They sub out. They get some rest. You're going against Danico Autry now. You're going against Derek Barnett, who's playing really well. The interior offensive line is constantly tested. Tim Settle's playing really great. Guy's playing really great. Those are 2 guys that, if you're not a Texans fan, you probably don't even know. So, and then once they sub out, guess what? It's back to Daniil. It's back to Will. This opposing offensive lines cannot get a break. And now that we're at full health, it's a very scary front seven. And what the Texans do and what they've been able to do to those quarterbacks that I've just mentioned, the brand of football that the Texans defense plays is very simple. We're going to pressure the quarterback early, up front. We're going to put pressure on him, and he's going to throw kind of ill-advised throws. And more times than not, those ill-advised throws turn into interceptions. This doesn't just come out of a hat. These aren't just bad days from these quarterbacks. It's not like Josh Allen woke up and said, you know what, I'm feeling like throwing 9 for 30. It's not like, and national media will tell you otherwise, it's not like Herbert's just a terrible quarterback who has, no aim, right? Justin Herbert is a better quarterback than what he showed against the Texans. There's reasons for why they're playing bad against the Texans, and it's because of our defense. It's because of that pressure. It's because of our ability to stop the run, and those linebackers that just fill the gaps. And so once that's all set up, the secondary, which is really great, complements the really good defensive front. So I need to talk about Derek Stingley and Kamari Lassiter. I don't think I do. You're talking about the best cornerback in the league and one of, if not the best rookie cornerback in the league. Like, these dudes are solid. These dudes are amazing. The only 2 weaknesses that I could talk about on the team, on the defensive side of the ball, arguably are the nickel corner position and the safety position with Eric Murray. Ironically, Jimmy Ward was supposed to be there and Jalen Petrie was supposed to be there, so that's due to injury. But, coming off this, looking at this past Chargers game, Miles Bryant played really well. He only gave up 1 catch. It was to Ladd McConkey on the 85-yard touchdown. I know that sounds insane to bring up as a good stat, but that should have never been a touchdown, right? That's Kalen Bullock's fault. And you can go back, watch the play. Kalen Bullock's in position. He takes himself out of position because he tries to go for the ball. He gets a little pick hungry. Is what it is. It's a learning moment for the rookie. Other than that, Kalen Bullock's having a great rookie year as well. And Eric Murray, I'm always scared when he plays a lot, but he had a pick 6 against the Chargers. Definitely still think he's a little bit of a liability. Definitely still think Miles Bryant's a little bit of a liability, especially when you get speedy Xavier Worthy running a jet sweep and you're looking at Miles Bryant trying to tackle that guy. But hey, like I said, That's only two positions that are somewhat weakened, and they're still playing well. So like I said, I think this is the best defense in the NFL. Their ability to pressure the quarterback and to have make the quarterback have a lower completion percentage, that speaks for itself. And just the interceptions and takeaways and sacks that this defense can bring, So again, to say that this Texans team is a practice is so disrespectful to this defense. Like nothing about this defense warrants practice. And it's honestly, their efforts are made harder because of our lackluster offense. And let's talk about the offensive side of the ball now for the Texans. If you've been watching the Texans at all this year, it's been no surprise that defense has been the reason why we win games most of the times, and offense kind of just has to not F it up, to speak candidly. I said that if the Texans were first round exits, which we're not, and I didn't think we were, I thought we would beat the Chargers, but if we lost to the Chargers, I would have thought the reason why, kind of subconsciously, from a vibes kind of standpoint, would have been the Tank Dell injury, ironically, back at Arrowhead. Because I felt like the team spirit was crushed when that happens. I mean, everyone was looking around like the grandfather just died. Traumatic injury is what it is. But Stroud's crying. The dude that got called up feels terrible. Jared Wayne, obviously took out Tank Dell. Tank Dell was having the best game of his season. And yeah, he goes out, gets demolished. That broke the Texans' spirit. It would have been easy to point at that play and been like, that's what crushed the Texans. That's why they're not making a playoff run. Well, what happened in the Chargers game? I think a play similar, gravitational pull, I don't know what the term is, happened, and that was CJ Stroud recovering the bad snap or a fumbled snap, bootlegging out, throwing it to Hutch, 30 yards, converts a 3rd and 16. After that play, Stroud played amazing the rest of the game. They go down, they score a touchdown. What happens next? They get into field goal range because of Stroud's 27-yard rush. He finally realizes he has legs and he can run the football. He can be a threat that way. So, and I'm not saying that this Texans offense is all cured. I am saying a couple of things, though. The offensive line has been better than it's ever been, and this is only like the 3rd time we're having this offensive line. Stroud seems to have finally flipped the switch. Hopefully he doesn't regress going into Arrowhead, but if that offensive line can continue playing, the best they played this season, and if Stroud looks like that going into Arrowhead, flipping the switch, kind of realizing that he is the caliber level player that he can be up there, then this offense might turn from bad to average to good to maybe even great. And if you pair that with an elite defense, the defense can do the rest. So that's why I just find this, and that's a really in-depth analysis. I understand that. And I don't know how much Nick Wright's looking into the Texans. And I'll give his point some validity. Going into the Chargers game, the Texans, their first 6 offensive drives, it was fumble, 3 and out, 4 and out, interception, 5 and out, whatever it was. The Texans cannot start like that going into Arrowhead. I agree. But after that play, Stroud seems to have flipped the switch, and he played really well the rest of that game. So you got to get that offensive juice to carry in at the start of Arrowhead. So that's why I find this whole practice thing pretty insulting. And I'm not gonna lie, last time we played the Chiefs, their offensive line held up. They stopped the ends from pressuring. Joe Tooney playing left tackle with a rookie right tackle, they had great games. So you just gotta hope that this defensive front can put more pressure on that weakened offensive line. The offensive lines have been an issue all year for Mahomes. You've got to put pressure on Mahomes. You've got to rattle him. I mean, we've seen him make errant throws. But to say that this is a practice, when we lost by 8 last time and, experienced a significant injury and didn't play that well on defense, and Stroud threw 2 picks in the first half, I just find that really insulting. So let me know what you guys think about this video or about this topic. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. It means a lot to me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one, man. Peace out.